One rainy afternoon, a man decided to stop by a small bakery on his way home. As he stood in line, he noticed a little girl holding a handful of change, staring up at the counter with wide eyes. The baker, seeing her hesitation, smiled and asked, "What would you like, dear?" She nervously pointed to a single cookie. The baker, with a wink, said, "That cookie's on the house." The girl's face lit up, and she proudly handed over her few coins. "For the next time you're hungry," the baker said, "there's always more than enough." The man in the back was me, and I was pissed off because clearly the baker was trying to take advantage of that young girl by luring her in with cookies. I experienced the same emotions while playing the upcoming FPS game, Ultrakill. Ultrakill is an upcoming first-person shooter game developed by RC Hikita Patala and published by New Blood Interactive. It was released on Steam through early access for Microsoft Windows on the 3rd of September 2020. The game uses retro-style graphics reminiscent of video games from the early PlayStation consoles and combines modern movement mechanics like those of Titanfall and Doom Eternal with gameplay elements from action games like Devil May Cry. Ultrakill is a fucking terrible game. It has confusing areas that are impossible to comprehend, doesn't encourage you to get the mechanics, the controls are terrible, and it has very problematic elements. This video will address all of those elements to explain that Ultrakill is garbage, and anyone who likes it is genuinely stupid and deserves to be exposed for it. If I had to suffer through this game, so do you. Before I begin talking about why the game sucks, I will start off by mentioning the positives of the game. I respect the fanbase's emphasis on healthy sexuality, with their repeated jokes about gay sex, pleasure, and pornography. It creates an air of positivity that I respect, especially since pornography and hentai were instrumental in my worldview, particularly with my favorite genre, Netorare. The devs also gained my respect in this regard, adding official butt plug support to the game. So, whenever I play Ultrakill, I can at least enjoy that feature, just like how you can enjoy great website design with the sponsor of this video, Triangle Area. Triangle Area is a service that provides website building for users. If you head on over to the website and insert the code TAIGA, you can get the first month free. Anyway, let's move on to the negatives. First of all, the mechanics of the game are terrible. The controls of the game are too responsive, sending me flying off whenever I press the A key. On top of that, it refuses to work at times, which is terrible for the very fast gameplay. The game gives you a revolver with no drawbacks, no ammo, no restrictions, no nothing. There is no encouragement for switching weapons unless you have to, nor using parries, which are impossible to hit anyway. All there is to do is to just shoot the enemies and everything's alright. Also, the style meter and ranking are completely useless. You'd think that the style and ranking go above D, but it never does throughout the game. It is completely useless and boggles the mind as to why it was added to the game. But to give Ultrakill credit, it does have a feature where you can make the overall mechanics, the enemies, and more stuff easier through the settings, which I will commend. You also have the option to turn off the music as well, which is also great. There's only so many times that you can hear breakcore before you want to kill yourself. The game itself is also confusing and frustrating. In the very first level, there is a part where you are on top of glass. However, you cannot break it by pressing the left button. You have to charge it up with the right mouse button. However, the game never tells you that this is possible, forcing you to fuck around until you do it. The bigger hurdle, though, is V2, who represents a massive difficulty spike and is extremely unfair to any new players. With the awful mechanics, it is impossible to beat V2, which is why I stopped playing. Yes, I didn't finish the game, but I feel confident enough to cover the major problems of it. However, the worst part of Ultrakill is that it is a deeply problematic game. The entire game is about shooting people that you disagree with just because of their appearance, slowly gaining more power and taking part in a ranking system that dictates how many points you get from nebulous activities. This obsession and dichotomy with violence, hierarchy, and oppression reveals an extremely authoritarian and fascist mindset. Ultrakill is a fascist game, and we know it based off of the developers. Hikita, the creator of Ultrakill, is from Finland, a country in Europe that benefited from colonialism and exploitation of minorities. But what seals it even more is that in the Second World War, Finland sided with Nazi Germany against the Allies, which it never apologized or paid for. This shows that Finland is a racist and fascist country, and it is no surprise therefore that Ultrakill is a racist and fascist game. Take the Cerberus as an example. They are very tall, and they carry around a ball with them. They are clearly representations of African Americans, since they are tall and have a deep and rich basketball tradition. When you mow down demons, it is like how school shooters mow down children in American schools and Walmarts. This glorification and apotheosis of violence against minorities sets a dangerous precedent these days, and it's for that reason that fans of the game should be doxxed and exposed for their bigotry. In conclusion, Ultrakill is a terrible game that has stupid mechanics, confusing areas, and a lot of bigotry behind it. I am overall giving this game a 3 out of 10 for bigotry, confusing mechanics, and too much blood. Now make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, or... What the fuck am I doing with my life?